A while ago, we talked about financial autonomy of the local governments. And joining us to discuss the danger of blocking local government financial autonomy and its implication on rural development is Senator Enang, the former special advisor to former President Muhammadu Buhari on National Assembly matters. Glad to have you join me, Senator.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Nigerians.
All right, report has it that some governors are explicitly warning their council, or have even warned their council chairman, not to open an account for the CBN. How do you respond to that?
Well, this is the governors. Their actions is very unfortunate, and we had thought that after about 25 years of democracy, the governors experimenting and exercising their powers over the judiciary, over the houses of assembly, over the local government, that they will be tired and that they will want to obey the constitution. And we had thought that after the first set of governors of 1999 to 2003, and the second set of governors who did first term, who did second term, or who did their first term up to 2007, that the situation will change. But it does appear that every person who comes into the office of governor is affected and afflicted by the demon of office, which is the idea that I am Lord over the manor of my state. The judiciary shall be in my right hand pocket. The legislature shall be in my left hand, and the local government shall be in my back pocket. All of it, me alone. Now, this is why Nigerians should really, really appreciate President Tinubu, because he has it in his subconscious. Even as governor in 1999-2003 and governor 2003 to 2007, President Tinubu has had it in his DNA that development, progress of the people will originate from the local areas, the development council. That is why, despite what he faced from the Obasanjo administration at that time and the position of the National Assembly, he opened and operated the development area development councils, which are still operating today, in addition to the constitutionally recognized local government. So it has been in the DNA of President Tinubu that the local government should be free, and that is the should be the base of development of the people. And when he came as president, he looked at all the laws through the Attorney General Fagbemi SAN, Prince Fagbemi SAN. He approached the Supreme Court for the interpretation of the section, whether we need more interpretation and whether we need more amendment. The Supreme Court said, you don't need any other amendment. The wordings of the Constitution as it is entitles the local government to their own money. And that is the judgment of the Supreme Court of July 4th, 2024. So in all this, the courts, the governors have refused. Now, let us remind the governors that the local governments are to them what they, as state governments and as governors, are to the federal government and President Tinubu. If the president were to exercise his powers and withhold their money for any reason,
I know that in your statement, one of the things you're asking, I'm not interrupting, just to add this, is that the president, you're demanding that the president freezes the accounts of state governments that obstruct direct allocation of funds to local government councils.
That's what we're demanding, and it is simple. When I chaired I was secretary, and I'm secretary of the presidential implementation of the autonomy of state judiciary and state legislature.
Okay.
When the governors refused at that time to release money to the state judiciary and the state houses of assembly, we had to take steps to obtain the accounts of the judiciary in each of the states and the houses of assembly in each of the states, although the houses of assembly were more afraid because of the election, they couldn't avail of the account. So that we availed the account, the authorities at the federal government, to pay the monies that are due to the judiciary of the of each state to the account of those courts in those states before the governors approached the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that that needed constitutional amendment to allow that to be done, and not the executive orders. We approached the National Assembly and we got all the issues that we had raised and provided in Executive Order 10 into the Constitution, in the 5th Amendment.
Yeah.
Now, what the President needs to do now, and what the Office of the Attorney General, which is handling the implementation now, needs to do, is to ensure and cause the monies of all the local government in each of the states to be frozen until the accounts are opened, and facilitate the opening of those accounts at the central bank, and cause the monies from the Federation Account Allocation Committee to be sent directly to each of the local governments to the account of each of the local governments. And then when that happens, we will charge the ALGON, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, the civil servants, the local government workers, the teachers, NUT, because the local government funds is what is going to be used in paying teachers.
Okay,
to come onto a pressure and cause until this action of the judgment of the Supreme Court is obeyed. They will not be getting into any trouble because they're simply seeking enforcement of the judgment.
All right, you raised this issue. A panel was set up to ensure implementation. Issue of implementation. But the panel directed CBN to open accounts for the 774 local governments.
Yes.
But delays with the CBN and LG's CBN and the local government are trading accusations.
Yes.
You help us understand that.
It is.
Even some local government chairmen are saying that CBN has stringent orders for opening of the account. One of them is I think it's a 2-month statement of account. And so the local government chairmen are saying that is stringent because the governors who have been spending money may not be able to get there.
The chairmen of local governments have no mouth. They are simply repeating after the governors what they want them to say. Because none of those chairmen who is talking of stringent condition can speak without the governors are directing them. So I pity them. I sympathize with them that it has been in their time that this is happening.
What do you make of the fact, the report that some of the governors went to meet Tinubu and are asking that this funds, instead of going to CBN, should be transferred to the commercial banks? And some chairmen are saying that why they want that is because they might have easy access to the money, unlike if it's in CBN. I
think it is, I have confidence in President Tinubu because, like I've said for the second or third time, that local government autonomy and development of the communities and the state through local government is in his DNA. It is in his head. He thinks and breathes it. And so if there was any such discussion, I will just answer for the president that, one, given his desire, he will not allow it. Second, it was him that went to court. And he will not want the decision of the court to be breached by him.
It's a Supreme Court judgment.
It's a Supreme Court judgment. And if the governors want this, let them go back to the Supreme Court and ask for that variation of the judgment. But without that, the president cannot sit with them, with the governors, and agree to disobey the Supreme Court judgment.
So what's the way forward?
The way forward for the president is to act presidentially. And direct the stoppage of all payments of all local government account funds and to any local government, and not payment to the state and to any account unless and until that such account is opened by the local government and the appropriate officers are the signatories to that account, and the money should be warehoused by the Federation Account Allocation Committee and kept by the federal government, and not even salary or allowance, or it can just be released for salaries only, because the local government are being intimidated. I pity the chairman of local government.
All right.
They are being intimidated, they have no voice, and they are being told what to say as excuse. Mr. President, please, the autonomy of state judiciary is still in issue. It is even worse than it was.
We'll stop it there. That's the time.
It is worse. Mr. President, please relieve and then get autonomy for state judiciary, get autonomy for state legislature, get autonomy for local government.
Thank you
this
so
has
much.
been your desire even when you were governor.
Thank you
and
so
this
much,
has been
Senator
your campaign promise, and
Enang,
get it to the end.
The former
Thank you.
special advisor to former President Muhammadu Buhari on National Assembly matters. One hopes that the judgment of the Supreme Court should be carried out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.